not going to get you anywhere. What I've discovered in most shelters, there are insensitive policies to not really get people back into the workplace and in a savings into which can quickly and readily in a couple months put them back into a deposit and a first month's rent and a job. It needs to be principle for homeless shelters. As much as the social workers grasp these people are indicative to fail based on gang activities or drugs maybe, that has to be principle when you're dealing with a homeless person. The first assumption has to be burnt bridges, financial destitution. It needs to be stuck to as principally the overall focal variable into which needs to be fixed. All other things can be fixed through outpatient programming and circumstances. This is not a rat trap to keep them in, to fix all those things before they get back to self-sufficiency. Homeless shelters are for self-sufficiency. You can't keep people stuck in a sheltered system if you really just need to put them in line to have government subsidies pay for that shelter, that privacy, that sanity in a modern age. Cops, people, everyone will be suspicious of them in a desperate position as they are themselves and the people around them, probably more so than the society members who don't have a close relationship with them. Jails totally have to be rethought for the exact same reason. They become networking units and leveling up places for gang activities and criminals, where numbers are exchanged, new connections are made, and a continuation of criminal necessitative lifestyles are encouraged, not disenfranchised in many situations, although captivity and a forced away treatment from drugs poses benefits, but clearly can be done without a literal jail for people simply being exposed for some sort of illegal or illicit class 1 drug use. The European models have been there and will always be there and should be looked at as a hopeful point into which to get for homelessness, addictions, and isolation, thus and then therefore corrections. As far as applying Jesus and church to these very governmental necessities in a multicultural country, you have to make sense. You want to fund this person's healing, not their ambition to join your benevolent interests of treatment, of course taking, you know. It's like trying to give someone an education and being like, you're only allowed to learn history and get a job as a history teacher to better yourself if we're going to give you a higher education for free. It doesn't make sense. Therapy makes sense, and therapy has to be chosen. Anyways, as far as everything else, in the interim, hotel vouchers and shelters utilizing old hotels would be principle. If you can put someone back into privacy instead of a social anxiety, which is building amongst modern societies and driving people into obsessively and retarded high expenditure for mental health professionals instead of food, shelter, and water, through utilizing, donated old hotels with modest upkeep, that's principle. So I think that's the best thing I could say.